Hi everybody, Jess has made his way out of the enclosure and has come all the way over here, which is Jessie here, and of course there's Lily in her spot, and she is like, well, hang on a minute, I was here first. So dude, what do you think you're doing? You're not going to crowd in on my space. She was quite relaxed and just chilling there and fast asleep, and she knew as soon as Jessie started climbing that there was another snake on the way, and her little head popped up, and she's been kind of focused here with her head out, watching him make his way all the way to there. But as you can see, you know, there is, people ask me all the time, is it okay to have two snakes out together and around each other? Absolutely it is. If you know your snakes and you know what they are like towards one another, there is no reason why you can't. You will occasionally, of course, get snakes that aren't to impress with one another. Does that mean they're going to kill each other? No, not at all. It just means, you know, watch them and get the other snake out of that snake's way. Give that other snake the space and so on. One will be more of a bully than the other, of course, the more dominant in a way, and just doesn't particularly like that other snake. But if they've been around each other from a very young age, and introduced to each other at a very young age, then there generally isn't an issue. And you know, Jessie's a male and Lily's a female. It's well past breeding season, so there's none of that behaviour going on. Jessie's just curious about Lily, nothing more. And Lily is like, I'll just ignore him, and maybe he'll go away and leave me alone. I am quite comfortable in having Jessie, Lily, and even Jack out together. Tessa, she's a bit more of a handful, so you know, I wouldn't have her out. And of course there's only one of me, so I've got to, you know, keep my eye on them and what they're doing and where they're going, and have one set of eyes and one set of hands, of course. But Jessie is going to explore a little bit more. He's seen that that spot's pretty much taken with Lily, and he'll just cruise around and check a few things out. So yeah, just remember, it is okay for two snakes to be around each other. There is no harm in it at all. You get to know them, and you get to know that they accept each other, that they're quite comfortable with each other, and they do like to socialise with each other and meet and greet each other. It doesn't mean they're going to crawl up and snuggle up. Of course, if it's breeding season, they may do that. But in general, they're just curious for each other, and who are you and what's going on and what are you up to. And then they do what Jessie's doing. Okay, I've been up to see Lily, and all's good with her, and now I'll just keep doing what I want to do, as I'm trying to find feet and where to go here without falling, of course. But yeah, they are social animals, with us humans, with other snakes. Introduce your snakes to each other. I know many people that do, and I've just had somebody that's recently building an enclosure that is big enough for both his snakes. He has allowed them to be around each other from a very young age, and you know, asked would it be okay to put them together. I do know they get along fine. They are male and female, so of course, you know, that in a way is great until breeding season and you don't want to breed. there are many warning signs that you look for to know that they're not getting along. If one is not able to thermoregulate because the female's up the warm end and the male is too scared of her, he's not going to go there, and he's going to hang down one end of the enclosure, and you'll notice that he's not moving around the enclosure so much. You know, watch and see, you know, the body language from them each. And, you know, if that is happening, that is telling you, no, this isn't working out, this isn't good, and no, I can't continue to do that. Lily has realised that he's moving, so she's going to take up that whole space, I guess, in a way for him to not come back and intrude on her space up there. But yeah, there are warning signs to look at. You know, one may just stop feeding altogether. Like I said, staying over one side of the enclosure and hiding all of the time. That is giving you a signal to tell you that all is not right in that snake's world with that other snake. So that's when you make the choice to put them into separate enclosures. And they can live very happily together for years, and that you don't see a problem in the world going on with either of them, and then all of a sudden the dynamics change. And for what reason, who knows, but it can. And for me, it was allowing them to breed, having babies. Things changed. The female, she was like the boss, and she was dominating, and poor Jack was hunched down in the corner of the enclosure and was almost like he wasn't game enough to move a muscle, even though it was a big enclosure, which is this one that Lily's in. I ended up putting a separator in the middle, so they each had their own sides, and Jack went back to moving around and eating and quite comfortable, even though I guess he knew that Lacey was still there. She was at least not able, he knew that barrier was there as well. So he obviously felt quite safe, and I did put a cover on that barrier, so, you know, he couldn't, he could smell her, but there was no view. But there you go. The problem, having two snakes out, exploring, doing their thing. You know, Jessie wanted out, Lily is out, and if I ran on Lily's routine, none of my other snakes would ever get out and have any time out. So I can't run on hers and say, well, tomorrow, Jessie, it can be your turn, because I know that Lily will be out. And that's a given here in my house. Jack hasn't really wanted to be out lately, so I've kind of just been letting him cruise, do his thing and stay home, but he'll be getting outdoors pretty soon. He's due for some time outside. Well, they all are, actually. So guys, you know how it goes. Take care of yourself and your family and your friends and your snakes. And all your animals. And yes, Ruby's in her favourite spot here in the lounge room. But it is important to take care of yourself, so you can take care of everybody else too. What do you think, Jess? It's the way to go, isn't it, mate? If Mum's not well, she can't take care of you guys. And that is what I hate, is when I can't take care of them. And they do know the difference when it's not me and it's somebody else. And they do know when I'm not well. They behave differently and they act differently. I've seen it so many times. So, yep, I try and take care of myself for these guys. Ciao.